Guys, we are at one of the biggest car launches of 2022, and trust me when I say this, it is a big car launch physically and in terms of what it does to the automotive space. The Scorpio is one of the most important nameplates that Mahindra has, and now we have a new one. Let me actually count. Technically, this is the third generation of the Scorpio, fourth if you take all the facelifts and visual updates and stuff like that that they've actually done across the years. No, in fact, you know what? This is actually the fourth one if you consider the first and the big facelift on the first gen. Two different generations. Anyways, new Scorpio, guys. It's always a big deal when a new Scorpio comes out. It's been a while. Now, before we start, I have to tell you, I can't really give you what my opinions on the car are because they are sort of embargoed till the 30th. But by then, well, tomorrow, we are actually going to drive the new Scorpio. So I'm going to be telling you in a lot more detail and outside in a very picturesque location. It's very fancy. What I really think about the new Scorpio. But for now, what this video more is like a first look of the car. A little bit of a talk about features, engine, stuff like that. Now, big grille obviously, and the Scorpio name has an N at the end. Now, it's obviously a nice play on words. It says Scorpion if you actually do it in sort of one shot, and this Scorpion sort of motif is everywhere. So if you look at this, the daytime running light is on and it looks like a sting of the Bichu, a sting of the Scorpion. And then of course you've got LED projectors here and LED sort of headlights and projector lights and a big grille and the new Mahindra Twin Peaks logo. Overall, it is quite, well, I'm going to say this because it is what it is. It's imposing. If you see this in the rear view mirror, you're probably going to move out of the way. Let's move to the side profile because again, just like a Scorpio, it's sort of evolved really well. Now the XUV before this, so the XUV 700 was a bit of evolutionary car. I think this is a little bit more than that. Big wheels, so again, great road presence. And at the rear, you have these sort of big towering taillights that, yes, some people say look like an Ertiga or a CRV, but I think they've got a bit of a character of their own. In fact, it's a sort of throwback to the second generation Scorpio's taillights. So I think it looks really, I can't really say what I think about it, but well, this nice candy LED sort of effect, this sort of translucent, almost ravel-long sort of toffee-like effect, quite nice. And just like the original Scorpio, or like the Scorpio has always been, the tailgate opens to the side. Now, a lot of people are going to have a bit of an issue with this, but I think they wanted to keep the DNA or the sort of soul of the Scorpio intact, so they've gone with it. Again, the Scorpion or the Scorpio-N logo here, and the same motif that I've talked about earlier continues around the side as well. You see this little design bit? Looks like a stinger. So there you have it. That's the exterior of the Scorpio. Let's quickly talk about the engines before we head to the inside. Of course, it has both a petrol and a diesel engine option. Diesel still very much alive and gunning for the Mahindra range. And of course, it has both an automatic and a manual gearbox option as well. Now, another thing that's very, very important. This is a ladder frame car. So it's a traditional SUV, if you guys on the internet want to call it that and celebrate it. And yes, it is still rear wheel drive. And of course, it's four-wheel drive as well. In fact, this particular car does have the four-wheel drive option in it too. Does it? Oh yes, it does. Four-wheel drive as well, and four-wheel drive with a four-wheel drive low option as well. So it's a traditional four-wheel drive setup, and it has terrain response system, so it might be quite capable. We are actually going to drive it off-road tomorrow as well. Okay, too much done on the outside and talking about the engines and the gearboxes and the drivetrain options. Let's head in and talk about the interior a little bit, then get in the third row because obviously this is a three-row SUV, and then I'm going to give you a quick conclusion and wrap this video up, and then of course head to the drive tomorrow. Now, unlike the XUV, which had like a very revolutionary new design, this is a little more conventional in terms of the layout and stuff, but it does get a lot of similar systems, although the screen is slightly smaller, stuff like that. But again, stuff like that you can actually read in the spec sheet, so it's not an opinion I'm giving, guys, it's a fact. But it's got a whole bunch of tech added to it, and I really like the sort of smart digital part analog cluster as well. Very, very crisp, very clear. Big sort of M logo, the new Twin Peaks logo that we saw on the XUV first. And there's a bit of premiumness in here as compared to the last car because you've got all this brown leather everywhere and this gloss black and the silver surrounds. I think they've done it really well. In fact, I did talk to Pratap Bose earlier today before the launch of the car, and I said, look, if you had to sort of select one segment where you've really done a whole bunch more than what you started off with, he mentioned that the interior trim quality and the colors and all the fitment bits is what they really worked on to make this a lot more premium as compared to the last generation car. And it sort of shows. again, this is something Pratap said, and we'll try to get a little bit of a bite from him later on, or maybe a little quick social media thing with him a little later. But this does look like a nicer place, and of course it gets stuff like a big gigantic sunroof. This is a really big sunroof, my god. Okay, it does get a big sunroof, and of course it gets 7 seats and a third row, so I'm gonna try and get into the third row. Let me see if I can fit or not, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of an opinion on the car overall, and we'll sort of wrap this video up completely. But in the meanwhile, tell me what you think of the interior, because again, I can't say what I really think about it yet. So you guys be my voice. Tell me in the comment section what you think. I want to read all your comments here. So I did get into the third row rather unelegantly with my butt sort of poking out, but I am in and I do fit. There is, if I sit completely straight comfortably, I would say there is about half an inch or an inch of space between the knee, between my knee and this backrest here. And yes, my head does touch this little hump on the back here. But apart from that, I mean, for short journeys, I could fit in. Although, would I do a longer journey? We'll tell you that in the review a little bit later. But overall, again, as I mentioned, feels, I'm not going to say much, just if you can sort of guess what I'm trying to say, that's what it feels like. Okay, so let me give you a quick sort of overview and sort of conclusion of what I think about this new Scorpio. Now, it is a large car, and that means that there will be a fair bit of road presence attached as well. And this Scorpio-N and the older Scorpio Classic will actually coexist. And the funny thing is, there's no sort of spillover in terms of technology or, well, platform or mechanical bits from the older one to the newer one. This is a brand new car. Pricing is rather interesting as well. Obviously, it's cheaper than the XUV 700, but it's sort of very well priced in the kind of competitive range that it is going in, and it is going to compete against a whole bunch of big names. The Hyundai Creta, the Kia Seltos, the Tata Twins, the Harrier and the Safari, even the Toyota Innova, and even smaller, more sort of niche plus 4-meter SUVs like the Skoda Kushaq and the Volkswagen Tiguan, and even the MG Aster. A whole bunch of competitors from various different segments are actually going to be sort of the rivals to this. So, 30th of June, I can tell you everything that I really want to talk about with the Scorpio. For now, I'm going to leave you with just this. Tell me in the comments what you thought of the Scorpio, and if you thought Mahindra missed out on a few things, and if you thought Mahindra has really exceeded expectations with a couple of features. Thank you so much for watching.